Welcome to Postscript. Here we hope to answer your questions and help you dig deeper into the messages and sermons at Faithbridge by talking with the teacher of the day.
Hi, and welcome to Postscript. I'm Luann Riley, Grow Group and Discipleship Director, and I'm here with Bible teacher Timothy Ateek, who just brought a message from John 5 on healing. Welcome.
Thanks.
So glad to have you back with us today.
Love Faithbridge. Always good to be back.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've had a lot of change happening in your life since the last time you were here, so congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
And welcome back. So you talked today about healing. Mm-hmm. Do you want to be healed, as the question was posed by Jesus. Let me ask you a couple questions around healing.
Sure.
As believers, we know that ultimately Jesus heals. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that we shouldn't pursue other means of healing?
Yeah, absolutely not. I think that to kind of separate things would be a big mistake, because God is the one who gave man the wisdom to do certain things. So in Jesus is behind so much. So for example, if you need to go to AA, you know what? That might be what God practically uses to bring healing in your life. If you read a good book, that might be what God uses to bring healing in your life. But I think the end goal, or the most important thing, is to see that it's ultimately, we're not trying to manage behavior here. We're trying to get Jesus to change something on the inside of us. And he's the only one who can truly do that. And so, God in his goodness has given us medical doctors who can help us with certain things. He's given us counselors. The Holy Spirit is called the counselor because we are people who need counseling. And so go to counseling. Jesus works through that and uses that. God speaks through books. He speaks most clearly through his word, so read his word. But as I said in the message, he uses his people to help heal his people. And healing best happens in the context of community. I tell college guys, you need a few men who are kind of your army who will help fight with you. And so recovery programs like Celebrate Recovery or AA, these are good places where you can put yourself in an environment where you're more likely to be open to Jesus's movement in your life, if that makes sense. And so don't drive a division between those two things. Often, Jesus has given us really practical things so that we're not here on Sunday morning just living in this big theory of okay, Jesus, heal me. Okay, he hasn't done anything. Well, I'll just hope for the best. No, he's given us these practical, tangible things. He's the one behind so many things that bring healing in our lives, in our world today.
So we see throughout the Bible, really, and I know we all know real life examples of where people are healed. Mm-hmm. And then there's examples where people aren't healed, and they struggle maybe for a lifetime with something. How do we live well in that place?
Great question. Well, I think, right off the bat, I think, thankfully, we know that this place isn't our home. Mm-hmm. So any brokenness in our life is temporary because of Jesus. And so a day is coming where 1 Corinthians 15 informs us that this physical body will be resurrected and perfected. We'll spend all of eternity free from brokenness. No more hurt, no more pain. No more struggle with sin, no more guilt, shame, and regret. So we have that we can see the finish line, and we always have to fix our eyes on the finish line. Yet at the same time, yes, there are times where people can put something completely behind them, and so their struggle it's just in the rearview mirror. But then there's times where healing is, sometimes Jesus' healing is that he just allows us to struggle better. That you lean more towards victory today than you did yesterday. That is an indication of some healing.
Yeah.
It's not complete healing, but it is some, and there's life in that. To say that, I have done this a little bit less than I did before, that shows that Jesus has done something. And so don't take for granted the 4 to a 4.5 transition, because that's more life. And so that's what you want. The goal isn't to get to a 10. The goal is, today I want to experience more than I did yesterday. And so to set that expectation that sometimes it is a lifelong process, and that's okay. You don't have to feel like you are just a wreck because you're not completely over something. There's some things that, we have to remember, while Jesus wants to heal us, we also have an enemy who is out to steal, kill, and destroy constantly. So there is healing even in the midst of the battle. And the fact that you're fighting more is actually a sign of Jesus' healing in your life, that he is healing. The fact that you're fighting more, that you're engaged in the struggle even more, that you're struggling, you sense that you're aware of your struggle more, is a good sign of healing, that your awareness of it. I'm just rambling now, but I'm trying to set expectations and get people to a point where they can appreciate the small fruit in their lives.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the hope that we have in the temporary of our condition. Well, thank you for that message, and thank you just for the way that I know many people who are suffering from a variety of brokenness were encouraged today through prayer and through healing. So thank you for being with us today and for that message. And thank you for joining us here for Postscript. We'll be back here next week.
Thanks for joining us for Postscript. Help us keep the podcast interactive by submitting your questions during the morning services. Learn more at faithbridge.org/postscript.